Hello and happy Tuesday. I was like, why is my thing all wobbly? But I think I was trying to get my stand put on my paper. My face looks really funny. I wonder if before I went live, if I hit some kind of, I'm just going to leave it. I could have hit some kind of filter, but it makes me look like I have some kind of skin mask on. All right. And I'm a little sniffy. I just had my COVID test. I just ran into town and had that done for my surgery on Friday. And yeah, so it's kind of one of those things nobody enjoys, having that feeling of that thing shoved up their nose. Hi, Tori. Hi, Lisa. Hi, let's see, Lois too. So let me just see if I can get my iPad going. It's kind of blowy, snowy out there, so sometimes my internet I feel like is affected by that. But if it doesn't pop right up, I'm going to get started. Hi, Donna. I hope we can connect later. I just ran out for a little bit and I got your call. So call me after this. So yeah, so I'm going to do card number 2 for Dawn Quam's virtual stamp party. So I'm excited because as I was getting ready, I had some ideas in my mind like I usually do. I usually go to sleep with those ideas where it's hard to fall asleep because I have all sorts of ideas going in my head. And then all of a sudden when I came to my craft room this morning to start to work on my card, yesterday's card was kind of my inspiration for today's card. So let me show you today's card number 2 for Dawn Quam's virtual stamp party. Hello there, Mary. So there's the darling donkeys. They're so darling, and I've only used them once this month so far for a different hostess. So I thought now is the time to use it a second time. Hey there, Lisa. And also you guys are maybe in for a treat because I'm going to try and do a double feature again today. So today's card number 2, meaning it's card number 2 also for Dawn Quam's party. And then I want to come back in a couple hours again with a second virtual video here for Stamp Camp. So I have my iPad up and running. I hope that's not a distraction when I'm looking down. Okay, so let me also get my camera angle so that you can see what I'm doing. Hello there, Rosina. Okay, and then I will put the card so that you guys can see it. There, I want to make sure that my tripod's stable. Okay, so here is the card showing the right way. How fun to have that donkey look like it's frolicking in the wildflowers there. So darling donkeys cannot be purchased. It can only be found in the free celebration brochure. So if you spend $50, then that is one of the choices. You can get this whole stamp set for free. And it's so cute. Last time I used this guy, kind of looks like it sitting in the corner. This one I might use later, either today or tomorrow for Stamp Camp to make that into a Valentine, but this one's kind of fun. Just kind of looks like it's in action there. So that is free. And then the paper that I'm using is the same paper as yesterday, and I'm going to show you a little story about that too. So here is the Flower and Field Designer Series paper 2, which you can get for free. Thank you, Lisa, with a $50 order too. Hi there, Shelly. So just know that if your wish list is $100, you could get both of those for free choices too. And maybe yesterday's card, this is what I have to show you. This was yesterday's card. And remember this pretty paper that I just talked about that was free? Yesterday's paper, when I cut down 3.75 by 5, then all of a sudden there's this little chunk left over. So today, as I was kind of getting this card ready and what I wanted to do something with reds, and all of a sudden this is the back side, and I'm like, that is sometimes just how my cards start. Do you guys ever have cards that start just like that? So also in this packet from yesterday's paper is today's paper. So that's where we get the pretty Flower and Field Designer Series paper. So same pack. So if you're like, oh, you know, sometimes you have to have the extra push of, well, yesterday's card I liked, but now there's this, and that's that same packet. I try and be helpful in that way. So I thought, well, that's kind of fun. And this card is really pretty simple. I didn't do a lot with embellishments. My husband was in at noon today, and I go, you know, is this going to be too simple or just what's needed? And sometimes I'm just happiest when it's just a calm card like that, not lots of bling and such. So let me get started. I think I'm going to start with just stamping the donkey here, and I'm going to ink him up with my Memento black ink pad here, and I'm just going to center the donkey like so. So we have the donkey like that, and then to cut him out, I'm just going to use my stitch shapes. So these are, if you notice, these are dies that I use a lot, the stitch shapes dies. And so the front, when these first came out, I don't know if they're still packaged like this, the front compartment has the circles and the ovals, and I had so many people say I didn't get my squares. So on the back side are the squares. So if they still package them like that, just open up the whole package, because it's unusual for Stampin' Up! To put dies on the front and the back. Hey there, Becky. So I like to let people know that too. I haven't heard that for a while, but I don't know if they maybe also package it different. Okay, so I have that donkey centered there. Just gonna run him through. There we go. Like so. And then we have this popped out. Let me push that out. I love these stitch dies. Okay, so you can see all the stitching there for the square. So that is, let's see, I was trying to think, it's the square that's about 2.75 by 2.75. It's not an exact, I don't think, but that'll give you a good idea of which square that I used for that. Okay, then I'm going to bring him closer here to the camera if I can do that. Just want to do a little bit of coloring. Hey there, Kay. And so I like to try and get that closer. I should get a new paper too. It was probably distracting after yesterday's big blending brushes technique that I could show you guys. Kind of got all over my paper. So the colors that I'm using here are the dark and gray, or dark and light gray granite. So I will start with the dark gray. And these are the only two colors that I'm using to color in my donkey here. So it's kind of easy just to fill in and color the snout kind of. And if this was going to take a long time, I literally would maybe do 2 strokes and go, you know, here's the full colored image, and I would, you know, plop on a new one. But sometimes when they don't take very long, I like to color with you guys just so you can see like how I do it and literally how easy it is to use the blends. So I know some of you aren't colorers. If you're new to my page, I never used to like coloring at all. I always used to think, oh, that's such a waste of time. I don't like to putz with that. But now that we have the new blends, I think the effect of them when you walk away and go, I colored that, is pretty exciting for me still. Like every time I color, kind of look like, wow, these things are just so easy because they glide and they marker super easy. And then just that blending makes them look like almost like digitally enhanced. It does such a great job. So all of this is done, kind of that outline, like half the ears and around the body, and then some of the like extremities there. Hey Vicki, thanks for joining. So then I put away that dark gray granite, and then I get out the light gray granite. I could do the brush tip, but because I want to get into some of these smaller areas here still, I prefer kind of the bullet tip for the light gray granite. So then I just kind of go over and try and pull the color from the dark that I've already put on there, just to kind of blend that together. And anywhere there's a little white spot that I left from the dark, then I just fill that in with the light. But I think most of that's already all filled in. So along those edges, I pull that out and just go like that. And sometimes with the blends, depending on how big the area is, you might go, oh, well, it doesn't look quite right. Now, this one I think is blending fast. So you can already see that's pretty well blended and done. Sometimes you'll see more of a distinct line between the light and the dark, and this will change a little bit more within the next few minutes. So let me just pop this up a little bit so we're not so close on top of my crafting area, but so you can still see. And then I'm just going to kind of do some more assembly. So let me pull out these pieces here that I have. And so like I said, yesterday's pretty paper's this, and then I'm just going to use that, and then there's this. And so I'm going to assemble that by putting that on the next layer, which is my cherry cobbler. Hi, Carol. I missed you this past weekend at the craft retreat. So this little piece here is, let me get out my ruler here. I know it's 3.75, but let's see how much was left, by 2 inches. So if you're like, okay, not using it as a scrap, kind of like I am from yesterday, you'll know how to cut it if you want to use it just like this. So 3.75 by 2. And then, whoops, this I cut 3.75 by 3, and I chose 3 because that way, whoops, we can get the max amount. I don't want that glue to stick to my card where I don't want it. So if I cut it 3.75 by 3, then we get the max amount. We get 4 sheets times 3, so 12 cuts of this. So a lot of times when you see me make cards, or when I would do events, I would have this maybe be a little bit longer, but this matches perfect, and then it gives us the max amount on a sheet of paper without hardly any leftover scrap or anything. So I love giving you measurements where that works out really well too. So yes, Marcia, hello, thanks for joining in. And then I think next I'm going to work on this a little bit more. And with that, I'm going to open up my cherry cobbler ink pad. Yes, Carol, I hope to see you again at the fall crafting retreat too. Okay, so there's this fun little star image in the stamp set. I call them little stars, but they're almost just like little tiny like hash mark images in a way. So I'm just going to kind of add those here and there around the feet of the donkey, and I feel like that kind of gives it a little action kind of embellishment there. And then the fun little hee-haw is the sentiment from that stamp set too, and I just think that totally fits this donkey. And it's kind of a small hee-haw, but yet it's done bold, which is great. So that's how that comes together like so. So just tying in more of that cherry cobbler color really makes the card come together. So I'm going to put some more adhesive on here so that I can put that on my cherry cobbler. So the cherry cobbler piece is cut just short of 3 inches by 3 inches. So that's kind of how it mats against this stitched square. Okay. So now we're ready to put this on the card base. The card base I chose is Bumblebee because when you get this paper on the back of it, it tells you what colors are in the package. And yellow, sometimes it's hard to tell. Is that crushed curry, daffodil, or what? But when it said Bumblebee, I'm like, perfect, no guessing. I'll get out my Bumblebee because I know that's exactly the right color that's going to be needed. So that I can just then put on here like so. And then I debated before I put this on, and I was making my card about putting some kind of belly band, some kind of ribbon, maybe even a yellow strip of the Bumblebee, but I kind of liked leaving it plain because that's both of those are pretty busy patterns, and I didn't want anything else to kind of distract from that. And then with the action of the donkey on there, I thought, let's just stay with that. And I decided to pop this up to give that just a little lift of the focal point from the rest of the card, like so. So then we can just put the donkey on like that. And I actually am really happy with it just like that. If you guys know me, usually the next thing I talk about is what kind of embellishment I'm going to add on here, but I like it just like that. If you guys have more things you'd want to do, you could do that. But like I said, the busyness of the paper, the action of the donkey makes me go, let's just stop there. But I will do an inside quick for you guys. And pulling from images that are in the stamp set, I'm going to use, it's a tiny little stamp, but I like it, tiny bit powerful. You're the best. So I'm just going to ink that up in Cherry Cobbler. And you can see that You're the Best is there. And then I'm going to go back to those little stars and just kind of put some of those right beside there as well. So that way that tiny little You're the Best isn't so tiny in the card when we add to it with that little bit of extra imagery. So then this I can just tape on to the inside here like so. So that is today's quick and easy card. Thank you, Becky. So yeah, really simple. And so if you guys have a wish list and you're thinking, what do I narrow down my free choices, look at yesterday's card where I used this paper, and then a couple weeks ago I used the donkeys. The donkeys are pretty much leading the orders that I've had coming in as far as choices for the celebration freebies. So it's been fun to see what everybody likes, and often if you kind of double up on certain things, you're probably going to go for paper, because doubling up on paper packets is easier to do than doubling up on stamp sets, because if you've already got one, then you're pretty much set too. So thank you, Lois. So yeah, that is today's card number 2 for Pastor Dawn Quam's virtual party that I'm doing. And thank you, Tori. And Tori loved yesterday's card with that paper. So today, Tori, you can make more things with that paper too. So, okay, so that was card number 2, once again, for Dawn Quam's virtual stamp party. How you can get yesterday's card, today's card that I just made, and I'm going to make another one for tomorrow. How you get that is if you place a minimum $25 order using this card, or let me know if you need help and say, hey, make sure you use Dawn's host code. Then you get the 3 cards I make for her party as a thank you from her and I for ordering through her party. And then, like I said, check back in a couple hours. I'm going to put another card together, and that is going to be card number 4 for January's stamp camp. And but in between there, I'm going to upload this card with information of all the supplies used to make the card too. So hopefully you guys are having a great day. It's kind of blustery out there. I'm glad to be back home, and we'll check in with you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.